And welcome back to part number 5. So now that we've go ahead and created the leg, we're going to have to go ahead and do some cuts into the mesh because as you can see, when I take these vertices here and lift them, it doesn't quite create that shape that I want because we need a cut right around here and such. So we're going to go ahead and do that so we can have that cut and get the shape accurately how we want. So how do we do that? We're going to go ahead and rotate up here, and we're going to go ahead and do a cut to the mesh, directly to the mesh, and then afterwards we'll adjust some of the sections. So to do that, if you do Shift space bar, and if you go, we're going to use the knife, which is going to be the cut section, and if you hit K, as you can see now the knife has been selected. That's how we cut things. So clicking on right here to the top and right to the bottom, click there, and then I hit space bar to finalize that. That's good. And then we're going to go ahead and rotate and do the same on the other side. So I'm going to hit with a knife, start at the top, run it where it kind of lines up right here. Make sure the alignment's correct. We're not trying to be super accurate. Click, spacebar. Now it's finalized. As you can see now I have a cut into the mesh, and now we can go ahead and do that section so it looks a little bit more accurate to R2D2. So we're going to go ahead and go to the front section. As you can see, there's some misalignments here, so we're going to take some of this movement, and we're going to go ahead and take this and make sure that these all line up straight. Cool. And as you can see up here, we have these extra vertices right here that we created. These two, we're going to go ahead and select these two because we need to align them in the place where the cut makes the most sense. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one right here, this one right here. Yeah, that's good. And also select the bottom ones for good measure. It could be that we have to do some readjustments. So now that I have all those four selected, I'm going to go back into this view, and I'm going to go ahead and move these right here to the point where I'm going to have that cut is going to be needed. So as you can see now, they're connected to each other. This cut is connected to this little corner right here, so in that way it's made to be optimized. So that's good. So now that once you have it in this perspective, and you have all your places are lined up, first and foremost, you're going to go to the bottom, select these, make sure they line up with this section right here, and then select this right here, line it up to the top. If you want to be a stickler, you can line it upwards directly. So as you can see now, when I turn off X-ray mode and I go to rotate, now I have this section right here that's been extruded in the way that I need it to be. So let's go ahead and go side views. As you can see, that sounds really good. Good here. So I'm going to go and take these two edges and connect them. So I'm going to press 2, go to edge mode, select this one, shift, select the other one, and then if I hit J, nope, doesn't quite work. F, doesn't quite work. So how do I make this work? So simplest thing that I could do is I just go hold this, and then I hit E for extrude. Let's say, no, that's the wrong way. E, let's say Y, no, E, X. As you can see, boom, good, nice and extruded. So now I've created this extra face right here to close this off. So if I press 1 and go to vertice mode, all I do is put snap again, take this one, snap it to that, this one, snap it to that. Now that's nice and closed off. So now that's good. And then if I go to edge mode, hit Alt, and then I hit F, then it goes in and nicely fills that out for me, because this is going to be the point right here where I'm going to start extruding. So before we do that, make sure to do save, and then we're going to go ahead and move on and do the rest of the leg section and such. And then when we get to the optimization part, for example, these parts, basically when we get to the optimization part, we're going to clear these little unused edges right here, but right now we'll leave that towards the end. We'll just focus on building the model inside. So now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and select this, go to 3, which is polygon mode, select this one right here, and I'm going to go ahead and make another extrusion because I want to do the rest of R2D2, so it's going to do E. So you can see extruding on the Z-axis, boom. It's good there. And then we're going to go rotate to the side and see how that looks. And I believe there is going to be a tapering that we're going to be doing this because the R2D2's leg meets a little bit of a pivot point. So let me go see, and I believe we're going to have to do that right now if I'm not mistaken. Because yes, when you get to that section, that is that gets tapered in because that's where the pivot point is going to be. So if I go here, Alt Z, turn on the X-ray mode. No, you know what, there's an extra section, so I'm going to go ahead and move this. Line it up correctly how it should be. Yeah, it looks in the front. And as you can see, I believe that little pivot section is not exactly entirely makes up the whole of the mesh. So what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and take this right here, and we're going to go ahead and split it in half. So how do we do that? I'm going to take this, these two, and shift and shift to select these two, and then I believe it's J. No, that's not J. Well, you know what? I could just keep it as this, and we're going to do a loop cut on this. As you can see right here, boom, we made a loop cut on it. It's this one right here, or it's a space, shift, spacebar, control, or control R to do that cut, and then this little cut right here. After we've done that, and we'll optimize this when we're towards finishing this, we're going to go ahead and 3, and we're going to go and select, turn off X-ray, so turn off edge cut, loop cut, select this little section right here, this face, and then after I select this, I'm going to go to the side view, and I'm going to go hit E for extrude. It's going on the right axis, right to the bottom, and let's see, X-ray mode to see what we're doing, and then I'm going to take this that I just extruded, and I'm going to non-uniform scale it. So this is one of those sections, as you can see, they have a little bit of a little tapering from top to here. And this is one of those sections where you also have to decide, is it correct to make a cut to have that little bit of a detail? When, let's just say this is going to be a game model, so we have no use for this now, so we're not going to do this. So we're going to keep it to this. And we're going to make that little cylinder section, which is part of R2D2's pivot point and such. So we're going to keep doing the small details first and then focus on the big ones inside. So now that I've extruded this outwards, it's going to be gone a little bit into the mesh because that's going to be the pivot point, so that's fine, we leave it there. So what do we do next? We're going to add this little cylinder section. How do you do that? So the good thing that I like about Blender is that when you're in edit mode, you could actually add geometry directly into the mesh you're working in, as opposed to 3D Studio Max, where if I were to add a cylinder to this, then I have to go in 3D Studio Max and attach it to the both meshes together, so I don't have to do this in Blender. So first save, Control S, and then I'm going to go ahead and do Shift A, create, and then I'm going to do a cylinder. And as you can see, that same menu comes up here. So rotation, let's go ahead and do this to 90, and it's best to keep it. As you can see, that's not quite what I wanted, so 0, take that, 90, cool. Radius is going to have to go down, obviously. And in this section, since this is, we're trying to save some geometry, I want to keep down the amount of vertices in it. So instead of 20, I'm going to go ahead and change that to 10 because we don't need so much detail on a small piece like this. 10, boom, it's good. Nice. Kind of how I like it. So once it's created off to the side, I'm going to go ahead and take it here and move it and line it up to here. Cool. As you can see, the movement's good, the alignment's good, and if you probably need to, you'll probably have to scale it a little bit depending on how you create it and such. It's up to you and such. And then I'm going to go to the side view. As you can see, now we have another issue that we have to fix. It's much too wide. So I'm going to take on the side view, non-uniform scale on the red one. More or less what's the same. As you can see, there's some alignment issues. That's up to you where you want to put it. So I'm just going to put it right there. And then if you get out of edit mode, as you can see, you have some shading issues that you have to address. So what on this little side element here, so what am I going to do? I'm going to go to edit mode. And if I hit Alt, I select the whole section. this, right click, shade smooth. And then if you go into object mode, as you can see, now you have a little section to R2D2's leg. And with that, that's about the 10-minute mark. We're going to go ahead and pause this video, and I will see you in part 6.